People used to treat me like I was nothing, a shadow in my own shadow. As the owner of Iron Ridge Motors, Tulsa's go-to place for reliable trucks, I prided myself on my fists bearing scars and a ball cap adorned with grease stains. We were a trustworthy dealership, built on handshake deals and unwavering honesty. But then came the unsettling letters, complaints about hidden fees, tales of veterans feeling belittled in my own establishment. I couldn't shake it. These weren't just numbers. These were lives. Runted my new manager, Victor Kane. His dismissive attitude infuriated me. "Just the cost of doing business," he said with a shrug, oblivious to the erosion of our values. That was my wake-up call, the nagging sense that my dealership was straying from its roots. I decided I needed to see what really went on behind those doors. Disguised as a regular customer, I stepped into the very place I had built. The minute I walked in, I felt like an outsider. Watching the pressure tactics employed by my own salesman, Tyler, was like watching a horror movie unfold. Then, I overheard the shaming of an elderly customer. My heart sank. I couldn't ignore it. I pulled out my phone, recording Victor's callous laughter as he called my naivety a joke. The irony stung. I was the one who had turned a blind eye. When I finally revealed my identity, the look of horror on Victor's face was worth the years I had buried myself in denial. Gathering the employees, I shared the evidence of betrayal and witnessed them step forward, emboldened. Firing Victor was cathartic, a necessary severing of toxic ties. I committed to reaching out to those we had hurt, determined to rebuild trust. Change was more than possible, it was essential. Iron Ridge Motors would once again embody integrity and empathy. And as I reflected on this journey, I felt a flicker of hope, because real redemption begins at the heart of accountability. "I do, Ray. Don't take this the wrong way," Victor said, leaning back in his chair like he owned the world. "Those complaints, they're just the cost of business. You've got to stop being so naive." Naive. The word hung in the air like a guillotine, and Ray felt it slice through him. "These are good people, Victor. They trust us to deliver on our promises. We can't brush them off." Victor chuckled, his lips curling in a way that made Ray's blood boil. Yeah, but trust doesn't pay the bills." He waved a dismissive hand. "Just get the numbers up, okay? Stop worrying about the little guys. You're in charge now? Act like it." Ray's fist clenched at his sides. It was his face on the billboards, his name on the building. And yet here he was, trapped in a nightmare he didn't even recognize. When Ray disguised himself and stepped into his own dealership, the disconnect hit him hard. "Hey, old-timer." Tyler's voice was sharp, predatory. "You want a truck? Let me tell you why you need this souped-up model. You don't want to look cheap, do you?" Behind him, an elderly man shuffled defeated, eyes pleading for assistance. Ray's heart sank. "What about him? He just needs—" "Not my problem," Tyler snorted, barely glancing back. Bile rose in Ray's throat. This was his business, his legacy. "Breathe, Ray," he whispered to himself, the fight swelling inside him. He had to expose this. Demolished later, heart racing, Ray strolled into Victor's office. "How's that cost of business treating you?" he said, flipping on the recorder. Victor's laughter turned to silence, and in that moment, the power shifted. "The truth, Victor," Ray announced, his voice steady. "It's time everyone hears it, starting with you." Ray stood in the dealership, a silent storm brewing within him. He had always prided himself on treating customers like family, yet the reports flooding in were a jagged reflection of a business he barely recognized. As he leaned against the polished surface of a truck, the chatter of salesmen and customers felt like white noise, drowning out his mounting frustration. The meeting with Victor earlier that day had cut deep. "Just the cost of business," Victor had scoffed, eyes indifferent to the stories of hurting customers. Ray could still picture the heart-wrenching letter from the veteran, each word clawing at his conscience. How had it come to this? He remembered his father's wise words about integrity, principles that had shaped his business, now being cast aside. Flooded to uncover the truth, Ray slipped into the folds of anonymity. Under the guise of an average customer, he witnessed the very practices that churned his stomach. Aggressive upselling from Tyler, dismissive attitudes toward those in need. Then it happened. He watched from a hidden corner as an elderly man's voice cracked, pleading for assistance, only to be met with cold indifference. Ray's heart raced. Each confrontation ignited an anger he had stifled for too long, culminating in a quiet roar of resolve. He caught a glimpse of himself in the dealership's glass door, a man who had lost sight of what truly mattered. The boiling point was near, and he could feel it simmering in the air, an unspoken reckoning waiting just out of reach. Ray stood at the front of the dealership, heart racing, but a newfound fire ignited within him. "Listen up, everyone," he called out, his voice steady and commanding, sending a ripple of surprise through the staff. The room quieted, all eyes on him, including Victor's, whose smug expression faltered. "I've seen what's been happening here," Ray continued, meeting each gaze with unyielding determination. "This isn't how we conduct business at Iron Ridge Motors." He paused, the weight of his words hanging heavy in the air, the tension palpable. "We're more than just a dealership, we're a family, and families treat each other with respect." He gestured to the recording on his phone, showcasing the very conversations that had taken place behind closed doors. Murmurs rose among the employees, a flicker of unity igniting in the silence. Victor, visibly shaken, attempted to interject. "Ray, you don't understand. This is how things work." Ray cut him off, his tone unwavering. "No, this is not how things work." A couple of employees nodded in support, a small victory. "Our customers are the lifeblood of this business. Their experiences matter. It's time we refocused on integrity and trust." As the whispers swelled, a young mechanic stepped forward. "I've been pressured into upselling features I know people don't need. It needs to stop." Another voice chimed in, followed by more, each sharing their stories of discomfort and unethical treatment. Ray felt his resolve strengthen. "Victor, I can't have you running this place anymore," he stated, solidifying his decision as he dismissed Victor with a firm wave of his hand. Relief washed over him as the tension shifted from fear to solidarity. "I will personally reach out to every customer impacted by these practices," he declared. "Together, we're rebuilding this dealership." Ray's voice was softer now, but the commitment was sharp. A sense of clarity enveloped him. This was only the beginning of Iron Ridge's comeback. Ray Collins stood at the front of Iron Ridge Motors, the chatter of employees and customers buzzing around him as he prepared to expose the reality of his dealership. His heart raced with anticipation and the weight of responsibility. Victor Kane, his newly appointed manager, was smugly unaware of the storm brewing behind him. "Can everyone gather around, please?" Ray called out, his voice steady but strained. Employees exchanged puzzled glances, but they complied. As they gathered, a palpable tension settled in the air. With a deep breath, Ray held up his phone, the screen lighting up with Victor's recorded laughs, making a mockery of customers' complaints. "This," Ray began, "is the real culture at Iron Ridge Motors." Gasps echoed through the crowd. Ray saw shock and disbelief spread across familiar faces. Those who had shared discontent but remained silent for fear of losing their jobs. With each word, he saw Victor's confidence begin to unravel. The smug smile faded, replaced by disbelief. "Ray, you don't understand," Victor stammered, glancing at the employees, desperate for support. "This is just business." "But it's not how we do business," Ray replied, the conviction in his voice rising. "Here at Iron Ridge, we believe in integrity, respect, and trust." With that, he laid bare Victor's tactics of upselling and mistreating customers, revealing stories of helpless veterans and ignored seniors. The employees shifted uneasily, their loyalty morphing into solidarity. One by one, they stepped forward to share their experiences, creating a powerful chorus against Victor's duplicitous behavior. "You're done, Victor," Ray declared, each word a hammer driving the final nail into the coffin of the toxic culture. "I won't let you destroy what my father built." Victor stood rigid, his triumph turning to fear as the truth crushed him under its weight. With Victor's exit, a wave of relief washed over the room. Applause erupted, soft yet fierce, a silent triumph of justice. Ray's eyes glimmered with unshed tears as he looked at his team, the shared victory mending what had been broken. This was not revenge, it was a reclamation of dignity, the foundation of their future, built on the principles Ray held dear. Stabilize, reflect back on that day, I realize how easy it was to overlook the very values that built Iron Ridge Motors. I prided myself on being the truck guy, a beacon of trust in Tulsa, yet there I was, blindsided by the very practices I always condemned. The experience was eye-opening, forcing me to confront not only my business, but the man I had become. When I stood before my team, revealing my identity, I felt a surge of power, but also vulnerability. In that moment, I learned that true leadership isn't just about making decisions. It's about creating an environment where everyone is valued. I still carry the weight of that awakening with me. So I ask you, have you ever found yourself realizing that your actions don't align with your core beliefs? What would you have done in my shoes? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your experiences, join the conversation about integrity, and let's explore the thin line between right and wrong together. Your voice matters.